Hello, my name is Tatiana Samouil. I'm a violinist, and this morning we will practice together with Carolina Sacristan, the Prokofiev Concerto Opus 19, and on the piano is Tune. So whenever you're ready. Thank you very much. Bravo. Already some progress from yesterday. Very, very happy to see this. So I propose that I just tell you still a few words about this ending. You know, when you play it now, it was so beautiful in the beginning, starting from 21. And I really saw the image of the earth, you know, from the space. I think you have to create something completely, even Prokofiev could never really go to the space. And it was still, he died before the first human went to the space. But I think here we really have to have some kind of distance, but this kind of distance, you know, from looking from to the earth, which looks very small, and all the worries and the problems you can really take in the perspective. So for me, this ending, it's a little bit about this. But let's go from the beginning. It's always a question about when actually and how do we take, what is the tempo primo here of this first theme, yeah? So before you start, there is absolutely nothing. There is this kind of very, very like some material, but without any pulse. And then you are actually the one who gives the pulse. So even if you can imagine maybe some small liberty, some small rubato there, starting from the fourth, fifth bar, you have to give the tempo. You know why? Okay. Because there, you know who plays the theme from you, after you? It's violas. And usually violas play always a little slower than you do. So you have to imagine that if you are playing this slower with the maybe idea that after the tempo will take off, it will not. Yeah, you should know that the tempo will drag a little bit down, yeah, and then you will feel comfortable. So the first two notes, it's maybe like an invitation, but then you have to give and I would say they establish the tempo. You have two notes to still think about it, but then you have to softly but give us immediately the impulse. I believe the tempo, the right tempo is incredibly important for the phrase because, well, when I was a student, I never could really understand what is the difference. A little slower, a little faster, but at the end, it's a question of breathing. It's also a question of your bow. And when it gets a little slow, it's very, very difficult to put the phrase together. So if you look to the score, how long is the first phrase, in your opinion?
I think until here.
Bravo. Yes, it is. So it is how, you see how long it is, yeah? So you have to, it's like you are taking here the air and then you are going underwater and you have to keep the air until here a little bit, right? So that's why too slow is death for us. We cannot breathe anymore, yeah? Okay. Let's try again. Yeah. Sorry. Here, clarineta, di, da, da. So this long note, maybe it's not the most important, but if you completely take it away, we cannot have a dialogue. We cannot have chamber music. Very good. One more time. Maybe now we really calculate the beginning as it is. Was it already?
No.
Do you know how long you should count? How do you count? You count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6? No.
Yes.
You do? Oi, but then it makes like 12.
No, it's
14?
6.
I see 2 bars and a
Okay,
half.
okay.
Yeah, 1, 2, 1, 2. So it's a little bit longer than what you do.
Okay.
What I would like you now to, for the tempo, I think it was much better. Yeah, there is a detail which is very important, technical or musical, if you want to call it. It's the 8 notes. I have a feeling that you are mostly thinking about the quarter notes and about the long notes, but 8 notes somehow they are not really looked after so much, almost never with vibrato. Why? So I think actually exactly those notes they are moving the phrase forward. Here. Different vibrato, yeah? And starting from here, a little bit more direction. In tempo. Last time I played the concerto, I have to make a compromise because the more I was waiting here, well, we wish that there is like a small cadenza, a small ritenuto, but then we just couldn't get viola to start in tempo. So I had to sacrifice the ritenuto to get the tempo back. So just to know that be careful here. And it's like, they play. You see? So be careful. And especially if you look to the score, which is our, of course, base of decision, there is nothing written, right? So there is no ritenuto. And generally also when you played the first time, I felt that in this first phrase, as you said absolutely correctly, which is until 4, there were too many slowing downs. Also here, there is nothing written. Of course, there is a new wave starts from 3, but if you wait too long before, it's difficult to regain the dynamic, yeah? One more time, please, from the beginning. Well, it's already very good, but we want it, it's better, right? That's why we are here. So I think there is not enough of difference between C and then C bemol, because actually the harmony is changing, yeah? The color is changing, and I don't know if you have a very clear idea how would you like to change your sound. What would you like to change here between those two notes? What do you think? Which one has more light?
The first one.
The first one. So the second one is a little bit already different sound, different projection maybe, yeah, a little bit more closed. Now, what is the difference also between this re and this do diez, in your opinion?
This one gives more direction.
Exactly. You know everything. What are you doing here? But now the thing is to make it practical. So after you play it, I sing a little bit. Because you're a little bit playing, and then you sit on this. And the moment you sit on fa diez, everything beautiful what you did from before,
Okay.
it's vanished, unfortunately. So this is the lowest point, right, of the first. So please don't put an accent there.
Okay.
One more time. More light here. Yes.